I'm with Bethany Fullerton from the SOS Children's Village here in Bethlehem. Now, Bethany, when did the work start here for the SOS in Bethlehem?
SOS Bethlehem started in 1966, and that's when the organization was registered. And in 1969, we had our first children living in the village.
And is SOS all over the world?
Yeah, SOS is in 134 countries. And actually, we have another village in Rafah in Gaza, which started in 2001.
And what is the aim of SOS itself?
The aim of SOS is to provide loving families for orphaned or abandoned children.
And what do you do to bring hope here to the children?
We give them a family atmosphere, and we give them loving, stable homes. We give them the ability to have reliable relationships, either with an SOS mother or with SOS friends. They grow up in a village atmosphere, and really we're taking kids who pretty much had no family beforehand and no one to take care of them and no opportunities for the future, and giving them actually opportunities for the future.
Are there many abandoned children here in Bethlehem?
I don't know the exact number of abandoned children in Bethlehem, but yeah, there's a good number of abandoned children in Palestine.
Now, obviously, you're living in a war zone. Does the war situation affect the children?
I mean, we don't take cases based particularly on political reasons, but of course there are some kids in our village who are affected by the war. So maybe the father is in jail and that's the reason that they have to come here. Yeah, we also have a family strengthening program where we work with families, and a lot of those cases do have some political issues. Like maybe the family is having a hard time taking care of their children because their home was demolished and they're still paying debts from building the home that was then demolished. Or a lot of times the father is in jail, and it makes it hard for the mother to care for her children because she doesn't have the capabilities to have a job because she never had that before. So those are the primary reasons, and there are some politics interfere. And of course, whenever there's political escalation in the Bethlehem area or in Gaza, then of course the politics will affect the children. They're part of the society here in Palestine, so whenever the society in Palestine is affected, they'll be affected. So I mean, for example, like in Gaza last summer, our kids, of course, they suffered a lot because of all the bombing and what was going on, and our village directors and employees had to be there for them, bring them into shelter, and we even housed other people in our area so that they could find a safe place to be, and obviously that affects the children.
Do you communicate a lot with your home in Gaza?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working in the national office, and we coordinate the work in Bethlehem and in Gaza.
Are there many homeless children in Gaza as well?
I don't know how many homeless children there are. I heard a rough statistic, which I cannot say is completely accurate, but that there were 2,000 new orphans from the last war last summer. And we took in 24 of them in the village in SOS. And that's a pretty big intake for us because we only have the capacity for about 90 children in Gaza. So to suddenly receive 24 new children, it makes a big difference.
And how many children do you have here at the home in Bethlehem?
In Bethlehem, we have 93 children. It ranges between 90 to 120. We have the capacity for 120.
And what percentage of those children would actually be orphans?
We have a very low percentage that are actually orphans, meaning they don't have a mother or a father. Most of our cases are social orphans or abandoned children. So either, let's say the father is in jail and the mother can't take care of them, or the mother and father are divorced and the mother abandoned the family and the father abandoned the family, and then the mother, she married a new man, and that man didn't want the children, so then they have no one to take care of them. Or maybe they come from an abusive environment and they can't live with their family, or maybe just the mother abandoned them and the father is sick or ill or can't work. Those are most of the reasons that we have children in Bethlehem.
What sort of programs do you run to actually help the children?
Well, I mean, every child that comes in has an individual development plan. So as soon as we receive cases from the Ministry of Social Affairs, and then we study the case, whether like they're of the most need for this type of atmosphere to live in. And we prefer, obviously, we prioritize children who are completely orphans, and then we would go to social orphans. So once we agree to allow the case to come into the village, we think it's a good fit. We think that this is the type of care that's in their best interest. We sit down with the child and we create an individual development plan. And that development plan is renewed every year, and our social workers are part of that, and our mothers are part of that, and the child is part of that. Like, how do they need to develop? And we look, what do they need for education? Maybe they're fine in education, but maybe they need some special help in education to get up to the level that they should be, because maybe they came at the age of 8 and they'd never been to school because their family didn't bring them to school. So then we have to get them like up to the level where they should be when they're age 8. We also prioritize social development, and then the mothers will work on certain issues that the children are facing. Obviously in Gaza, when we have an orphan from the war coming in, a lot of the first months when they come in is psychosocial support for what they've experienced, because what they've experienced can be very, very traumatizing. So we'll prioritize that first. Also, another priority is medical attention. Maybe the child needs some medical attention from the outset. And of course, we give continued medical attention while they're in care at SOS.
So really, when they come through the doors of SOS, they're joining a really big family.
Yeah, they get to live in a family with a mother, 6 to 9 other siblings, and then they live in a village atmosphere. So, I mean, our main priority is to give them a loving family, because that's where kids can develop the most and find the best way to develop into adults who can actually contribute to their communities.
So when they come in and they get an SOS mother, do they really bond with that mother and it becomes a real sense of real substitute for their real mothers, and they can really have a mother to live with?
Yeah, I mean, they bond, they call them their mother. Some of the kids are still connected to their biological families. And so, of course, a mother can never replace like a biological mother. And if that connection is okay with the child, we will maintain the connection with the biological mother. But I mean, really, the mother here is the one that the child goes to when they have problems. The mother is the one that helps them with everything that they need. The mother is the one that provides love and a stable relationship, and they feel most closely connected with their SOS mothers.
And do they attend the local schools here?
Well, the kids have mostly been attending the SOS school. So we have a SOS school in Bethlehem, but that school is most likely closing or either going to a different partner next year, and then they will go to the local schools.
And at what age do they leave the village?
So kids are in the village until the age of 14, and then at the age of 14, they go to our youth houses, and they stay in the youth houses until they're 18, until they graduate from high school. And in the youth houses, we really prioritize learning independence, learning responsibility, learning life skills, career building, personality building, talent building, trying to prepare them for the future so that they will be able to become independent adults who can actually make a contribution to their society. Then at the age of 18 to 22, they'll go to like semi-independent living, and it depends on child to child whether they'll rent an apartment near the university that they're attending or whether they'll go and live back with their biological families if it's safe for them and if that's what they want. And we give at that point the child or youth a lot of influence in their decision, so they really get to decide what they want to do. Then at the age of 22, we have a 6-month transition period where we help them to find a job and make sure that they're stable, and we follow up with them regularly. And then after that, they're independent, and we no longer care for them in such a direct way.
Have many of the kids gone on to do great things, and do they come back and visit their home?
Yeah, I mean, all of our kids, most of the people who were kids here and youth, contribute to society. They get jobs, they become journalists, they become lawyers, they get married, they have kids. A lot of times they'll come back to the village and visit their mothers because they still see their mothers as pretty much their primary mother. We have several SOS kids who now work at the village as program directors, village directors. So they're really able to have the life skills to actually contribute to society.
And it must be fulfilling for you to work in such an environment like this.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I know that we're doing really good work, and you can see that what SOS has is something that's it's really special compared to most institutional care systems. And most institutional care, you don't provide this loving family atmosphere. And this is something that really sets us apart. And that's something that really makes our kids very strong and good people and people who can actually engage in society.
And what's your prayer finally for some of the kids, particularly those ones that have been through a rough and difficult time?
I mean, I just pray that we can give them the atmosphere that will develop their talents and their skills, and that they'll be able to be who they truly are, and that they'll have the opportunities to develop those in the future.
Okay, Bethany, thank you very much.
Thank you.